Hi, I'm Taryn from Surrender to Your Soul, for those of you that don't know me, and welcome to November's reading. So November's come at us with a beautiful energy of confrontation is almost the word that most comes up for me at this point in time. With November bringing in sort of a whole lot of energy of forcing us to deal with everything that was new in this year. So remember, 2017 is a 1 year. And so November's a double 1 month. And so all that you had started off looking at as important for this year, this month is a month of truth-seeking around anything that you wanted to focus on. And so there's kind of a illumination happening in this month where things are being provoked. And it's a beautiful opportunity for self-renewal and self-reflection. And so it's very exciting. As you know, the last few months I've started to do these monthly readings where we're going to do a card for healing. So we're going to look at what's a message from Spirit around healing anything in your life this month. So you can think about, do you want to heal your physical well-being? Do you want to heal a relationship? What is it that's calling for healing at this point in time in your life? And we will have a message from Spirit around that. Then there'll be a message from Spirit around growth. Anywhere where you are looking to expand. And remember, spiritual expansion is different to physical growth. The human mind, the ego likes growth where I write a test and I get a result and I get told that I'm on another level. Whereas the soul and the spirit likes to expand, as in more light. We fill our lives up more. We take more space up in our own body and we're more present to our own lives. And so that's what the growth card is all about. And then a card for enlightenment. How do we bring more light to earth at this point in time? And we well know that there's a huge craving for healing on the planet at this point in time. And really, the more we can hold our hearts open to bringing love forward and light forward at this point in time, that is what the world is craving. Anger and war and hatred has not got us very far. It brings us to more anger, more hatred. And so only love can heal what is needed to be healed at this point in time. And one of the things that I keep been getting a message around, and I'll throw it in here because my guides are prompting me to do it, is that social media is a beautiful platform. Like everything on earth, it's a platform of opportunity. What we do with it is the frequency. In the same way as if we have money, money is just money. What we do with it gives the frequency with which we use it. And so social media is the frequency of what we post, what we do on social media. It becomes an energy contribution to the group consciousness. And so I really encourage you, if you are finding yourself at a point where you wanted to know, how do I contribute to making a difference in the world, is own the part you play in what you contribute to the group consciousness. Are you spreading dramatic messages? Are you spreading and reposting messages that are promoting separation and hatred and anger and provoking things? Or are you sending messages of peace and hope and prayer and love to all that deserve it? And so be conscious of what it is. I find a lot of us, and I know I even find myself, want to use social media as a platform for making our views heard, which is a beautiful way to do it. But if the view you have is one of anger and judgment and frustration, it does not serve creating healing on the planet. And so, it's an opportunity to reflect. There's no right and there's no wrong, and everybody's entitled to do what it is they want to do with their voice. And so all is respected and loved from my perspective. But I really would love for more of us to use our voice for peace, and use our voice for hope, and use our voice for contribution towards something that is aligning with healing. One of the things I see is that we think that by supporting the causes that we're behind, by signing petitions and sending forward dramatic messages and showing pictures of very traumatic circumstances as a way of helping. And it's not. It's just contributing more fear, more anger, more hatred, more energy towards the very thing we're trying to get rid of. So I'll get off my little hobby horse about that. But it really is something that, as light walkers, people that are learning to walk in our lights, is that everything we do contributes an energy frequency towards the whole. And so we can really become quite powerful in our contribution to Earth and that. Right, so let's see what the cards are for this month. So as I said, there's 3 cards. So I'm going to pull first, this is the healing card for the month of November. Then we've got the growth card for the month of November. And then the enlightenment card for the month of November. Right, so the healing card, the card that's come forward is coping is not the same as healing. This card is one that really is about looking at the traps we've created for ourselves by being strong and independent and avoiding our pain. One of the things that happens for us is when difficulty enters our life, trauma, difficulty, stress, heartbreak, disappointment, even anxiety, we separate ourselves from that and we go into coping. And that's necessary at the moment things happen, because we almost need to just get on with things and deal with it and do what needs to be done in those moments. But the intention is then that at some point there's a point of honoring the pain or the fear or the anxiety in any of these things, and coming forward and feeling that and allowing ourselves to honor the part of us that didn't know a different way to deal with it. And really a big part of our journey, our healing journey, is finding our power in our pain, our power in our fear, our power in our stress, our power in our trauma. There's a gift in all of that, and learning how to find that gift is quite a gentle journey of allowing ourselves to face our own insecurities and inabilities to know what else to do at that point in time. Sadly, what happens for many of us is that we toughen up to deal with what needs to be dealt with in the moment, and then that toughening becomes the bravado, and we stay there, and we can become very tough and strong and independent and focused, and we can even start to value that in ourselves, and this becomes a facade where we don't heal our vulnerability and our pain and our insecurity. So what happens is the same triggers happen, and we just keep responding in the same way, and we just seem to get more and more distant from ourselves and from our lives. So the healing journey is one of compassion, kindness, reflection, and allowing ourselves to honor our fear, honor our pain, honor our grief, honor our trauma, honor our hurts. And remember, I said this is a double 1 month in the year of the one, and so the sort of patterns of protection that we have created over this life are being asked to be looked at. Is that you may have formed a pattern of protection at the age of 6 when you were scared of being bullied at school, and that's become a coping mechanism and a facade with which you face the world, and what it's doing is keeping you separate from the young, beautiful, playful, joyful part of you that was quite innocent at that point in time and did not know what to do. And so we almost need to take a moment and go to the 6-year-old little girl or boy and say, thank you, I'm sorry, I love you, come sit with me here. The coping mechanism you created is no longer necessary, but you are loved and you can stay. So rather than keeping that separation in place. So the way my guides are talking about it is like there could be a really beautiful ceremony you could do, especially now that full moon's coming up on the 4th, of releasing any false protection mechanism that you've created that is no longer serving your highest good. Anything where you've put up walls to cope with life, and it's okay that we do this, it's normal, but to find how do we break down those walls one little brick at a time so we can come back to the most innocent and playful and loving and caring part of ourselves. And so that's the healing message for this month. If you would like to do a ceremony at full moon, well then a great way is to focus on an area in your life where you are wanting to heal. Let's imagine it's around relationships, and sit down and do a little bit of a reflection, a journaling exercise, a writing exercise for yourself around what are the protection mechanisms I've created in my life to cope with pain that I've experienced in this area of my life, and honor the coping strategy, honor the part of you that created that, and then ask the higher part of you to step forward as you release this, to show you a new way to face those very fears and insecurities. So there you have it. It's quite a beautiful thing to do. I ran the first Healing Your Relationship with Money workshop about 2 weekends ago. There's another one coming up in March. If you're interested, such an amazing experience. It was such a beautiful experience of getting people to reflect on their relationship with money and heal their own protection mechanisms for receiving, giving, sharing, owning, earning, creating, playing with money. And so it aligns so much with this. There's nothing to protect yourself from, yourself. So the growth card for this month that's come forward is happiness is an inside job. This is one of my favorite cards, probably because I received a profound amount of growth from reflecting on this message. I have a past where my relationships, and it's still something I grapple with, where I end up being very responsible for other people's happiness, and the resentment that builds up because I'm feeling like I'm responsible for keeping you happy and not taking care of my own happiness, starts to become what we call codependent relationships in terms. And so when you start to reflect on how happy am I right now? Now, happiness is not a lasting state. It's something that comes and goes. And joy is far more lasting. Happiness is almost an experiment, an experience. It's like a wave in the ocean of joy. But happiness is something that promotes us to feel good about ourselves. It promotes us to feeling excited and passionate and ready to face the world in many ways. And so happiness is a great clue to our own talents. It's a great clue to our own passions. It's a great clue to our own contributions to the world. When we do something and we have an experience of happiness, well then that's a clue of what it is that is calling us forward to do more of. The challenge for this, though, is that when we are doing this about something external to us, so when my children are happy with me, well then I'm happy. When my boss is approving of me, then I'm happy. When the world goes according to plan, there's no traffic, then I'm happy. Well, now we've become almost a little bit of a victim to external circumstances, and so the clues now get distorted because now we end up in trying to control and fix everybody around us and so that we can be happy, and that starts to just accumulate into too much responsible, too many people, too many things to control. And so when we start to take back happiness as an inside job, it's not about what we're doing on the outside, it's about a state of connection and presence to ourselves, and a noticing of what makes my heart sing when I'm by myself, when I'm doing things for myself. When we can start to see that, then that starts to become a sort of waterfall inside of us, and it starts to tip over and we start to contribute a lot more into the world, but we're doing it from a full cup, not from a empty cup. The empty cup happens when we give to everybody else, and there's no receiving internally. So when we understand happiness is my responsibility, I'm here to ensure I take care of my buffer of happiness so that I have the energy to contribute to the world, and that it's not a little bit of a drug, that I'm doing things and have this moment of happiness and then the person's no longer there, and so now I'm not happy. And when this person's here, I'm happy, and when this person's not here, I'm not happy. Or when I'm doing this task, I'm happy. When I'm not doing this task, I'm not happy. And so that becomes a little bit of a drug when we're looking at the external stimulus. So if you had to think about your own personal growth and look from an expansion perspective, a great way to think about this happiness as an internal job or as an inside job is, when am I at my lightest? And so not at my most sort of excitableness, but my lightness. My heart feels light. My energy feels light. I feel like I'm in a state of flow. And when I can start to see those things and code that as my happiness serum, then I start to align myself with everything that makes me feel light. Not needed, not responsible, any of these things, but light. And if those things create lightness, so be it, but often they don't. And so when we start to look at happiness as a feeling of light, almost a feeling of floating, a feeling of flow, a feeling of ease, a feeling of openness, those are the clues to do more of that. Not more of that on the outside, more of that on the inside. How was I thinking about myself? What was I expressing in myself? How was I being called to my truth in that moment? This becomes the happiness serum. So the Enlightenment Card, I'm smiling at it for this month. It's another one of my favorites. They're not all my favorites, I must be honest. We are all connected. You are not alone. We are one. And here's the flower of life. And the flower of life is a sacred geometry pattern that is really a connection point to everything that has ever been created in the universe. For those of you that are interested in sacred geometry, I'm running a program next year on the joy of sacred geometry and how to work with sacred geometry and create it and use it in your day and in your life and in your healing practice, if that's something you do. So the message that's coming forward around this for November is to connect back to yourself. And so it really aligns with these first two cards. Coping is not the same as healing, and happiness is an inside job. When we look at we're all connected, there are so many lonely people in the world, yet they are surrounded by so many people. You can think for yourself, when are you feeling like there's a lot of people with you? You can be in your office, you can be at home, you can even be with friends and family. But there's a feeling of emptiness, there's a feeling of loneliness, there's a feeling of not being seen, not being heard, not being gotten, if I had to use that word. And so there's a lack of connection. And the connection is not to somebody on the outside world. The connection is to you, to the source of you, to the higher self in you. And it's a connection to your truth, to your heart. And your heart is a little spirit, or a little piece of spirit. It's a little bit of God. We all have we're all one. We're all connected to the source energy. If you had to imagine a spinning vortex and little pieces of light just gets flung off on the side, this little piece of light is your spirit, and it is you. And you come to earth to bring that spirit to earth and to bring heaven to earth, to allow that spirit in you to fill up your body and contribute from the perspective of, what would I do if I could just spread love, if I could just spread light? And so most of the time we're quite disconnected from this piece of divinity inside of us because we are in our minds, and our minds can do nothing other than separate. Our minds live in the tool it has. It's a very small CPU. It's a very small processing unit. It lives in the trying to sort it out and box it and put things, and it keeps things separate. I mean, we wake up every morning, the first thing our mind does is box things and label things and put things in various components so that it's all separate, so it feels manageable. And so what happens with the mind is we start having all these separations and these trade-offs, and it's me or you, and it's good or bad, or it's right or wrong, or it's love or hate, or it's any of these things. It's got a construct in the mind of verses. It's a trade-off. Whereas the heart is an alchemy. The heart has it can always add more. I mean, there's no limits to the amount of love. You can't have too much love. You can't love too many people. You can't have too much creativity. You can't have too much joy. It's an alchemy place. We can put competing things together and it just alchemizes into something new. And so connecting back with this part of ourselves, our innate wisdom, the divinity inside of us, the part of us that chose to come back to earth and chose to come and make a contribution, make a difference, is the message for this month, is to sit and ask yourself. The way I do it with many of my clients is, the part of me that's bigger than all the other parts of me, please come forward and show yourself to me now. And when you sit in silence and call forward that part of you and let it energize you, and that's an infinite source of energy, which means I no longer need energy from adrenaline. I can get energy from the divine, from my heart. Then I ask that to fill me up and to help every part of me that's living in separation to come back to feeling connected. Almost like, the Mercury, when you splatter Mercury, it's got all these little pieces that go all over the place, and you've got a blob in the middle, and you can just see them all making their way back. It's a little bit of what this is. It's calling back the pieces of you that are feeling separated and putting all the pieces of you in your heart and knowing that you are so loved and so part of the divine and everything serves in you. And you are here to contribute something magical to the planet at this point in time. So there we have it. That's the message for November. I hope that serves you in some way, shape, or form. If you find that it's provoked something in you and you'd like to connect with me, then please send a message. If you feel that you would like a one-on-one session, you're more than welcome to. There are only a few sessions left for the rest of this year. And then have a look at the courses that are running. The Joy of Sacred Geometry I've spoken about, the Abundance Workshop I've spoken about. And then Lifting the Veil is my flagship course, which is a calling to anybody who wants to learn how to work with spirit. A really, really a beautiful 8-month journey of learning how to channel and how to connect with spirit, how to do readings, how to work with the divine, how to work with animals, how to work with the elemental realm. It's just filled with richness. And the last one is in January, there's Setting Your Soul Compass, which is a day of connecting to your soul and having guidance for the year ahead. And there's about 7 white spaces left for the second day that I created for that. So with that all being said, I send you all so much joy and love and peace and harmony, and ask you to walk with light. Spread light wherever you go. It's the best gift you can give. Disturb the world with kindness. Sending you love. Till next time. Bye.